The agenda was properly posted?
Yes.
Okay, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is public appearances, and this is the public's opportunity to speak about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Anybody?
I do not have anything.
Okay. Number 5, discuss and consider the minutes of the regular village board meeting of June 20th, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. I was in Minocqua.
I abstain as
Oh,
well.
it's 2
I wasn't here.
abstentions. Well, there you go. 3 to 0 to 2. Okay. Number 6 is presentations to the board, and our first one is presentation by John DeYoung regarding DaneCom.
I don't know if there was, I didn't get a confirming contact from him,
Okay.
so I'm guessing it'll be next time. And what I would ask the board is, in your packet of materials for tonight, there's a series of emails and background information on DaneCom, which we actually put out, I think sometime in, let's see, last August, I think. And so if you could just bring that with you next time, that'll be part of the packet, and I'll confirm that, that he'll be here.
Okay. Sounds good. 6B, presentation revealing the draft of the new village website. And do you want a movie screen? for that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can grab it. Where we can see it.
Yeah, broken.
Yep.
Shall you see if I can get one or two of the front lights?
Sure.
Thanks.
I'll figure it out. Hey. How about that?
That's right, you're the president.
Alright, so the sheet that I handed you guys is just to get any feedback that you guys have on the design that we'll be showing you today. What I'm going to do is by Friday, I'm taking all the feedback we have from department heads, and everyone's kind of been a part of this project so far, and I'm going to send it in as one document to Civic Plus with everything, so that they have it all in one place, they're not trying to look at multiple different places. And then hopefully we can get exactly what we're looking for. So first, just to kind of show you where we are in our timeline. We just finished phase 3, where they did the initial reveal, and we're kind of in the process of being in phase 4, phase 5. We'll have training for some staff the week of August. It'll be August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Potentially we might be done before the 5th. And then we'll be getting into phase 5, which is on next Friday, which everything is kind of due for what we're looking for. But so that's where we are in the timeline.
I mentioned some things to consider. Is that this is still just a draft. Not everything's totally personalized yet for the village as far as pictures and things like that. So there's some stock photos, and looking at it more of what you'd like to see on the website. Reese will kind of move around a little bit, show you how it works, what the features are like, and kind of go from there. We also they found a logo for us that looks more modern, but also looks like similar to the village logo with combining trees and then a house. So I think you guys will like that too. So
Yeah,
you
thank
go
you.
from there, Reese.
Yep. So this is obviously our current website right now. Just kind of want to remind everyone what our current website looks like, just so we can see what we're going to be transitioning to. So it's our current website, and then this is what was presented to us on, I think that's smaller.
We need to push the,
You just
push the,
Oh,
move the cart, yeah.
Probably smart. There we go. So this is what was presented to us last week. You can see we're going with the blues and the greens. And that's the logo that Matt was just talking about. That's a little different from what our current logo is. Some things initially that you can see is that just as Cottage Grove, one of the things we brought right away in the meeting is, we need that to say Village of Cottage Grove. And then these are some of the stock photos we talked about.
And we'd like the title to be larger and for, the welcome to be, that to be smaller. And I mean, just some little tweaks like that, but.
Yeah, so there are little things because we just felt like when we saw the site initially, we were like, I don't think of a municipality when I look at this. But like some of the tweaks are really small, but you can just see, so right off the bat, one of the features is this scrolls. So the header always stays on top no matter where you go on the page. So then if you get down to the bottom and you're like, actually I really wanted to go to a page up here, you can easily just go to something up there. But one of the things that's not showing is, there's a sidebar too, I don't know where that is. But it has, it's not showing on the laptop either.
Oh, it's not?
No, so I don't know if it shrunk the screen because it's something to the corner.
Yeah, there's another menu that
It's-
runs.
Just on the side, it says notify me, agendas,
Pay bills. Pay bills.
pay bills. And that's something that also is sticky, so it scrolls down on the screen as the customer or whoever would be using this would go. But we have our social media things up here that are just one click, get you to. They have the how-dos, community, business, services. So
Can you go back to that? How do
yeah, sure thing. So it has kind of like, these are your most frequently asked questions, so things that they think the community would probably be looking for, which would be, employment opportunities, zoning permits, agendas, garbage recycling, things that are kind of, top hits on sites, particularly for municipalities. Let's go to. So they've loaded in some of our old agendas already. Where you can see, you can easily download them. The minutes are here for this meeting, so you can then get the minutes for the meeting. Are right there. Really easy to get to. And you can, Board of Review, Community Development Authority, Deer Grove EMS. So again, really easy to kind of see exactly what you're looking for and get to that section right when you want to. This is one of the headers that this photo is the same for every interior page. And so we were talking about trying to see if there's a different photo for the village, like the village water tower or something else. But then going back to this main page, one of the things that we talked about is having like the news flashes, the YouTube channel, which is really easy to get to everything. Then we have the events calendar, and then there's also a meetings calendar that then you can pull up for people to see. And again, we were able to put videos in here. And some of this stuff, which is really nice, is once we get to the timeline where we're looking to, the website is finished design-wise for us, we can really customize a lot of these things. So we can choose, if we want that news flash to be there, or if we want to add another, like we want to put a video up here, or we want to put pictures up here. Those are all things that we can easily do. And we have that freedom to kind of do it how we want it.
And this main big picture reads correct. We can put like 10 different pictures in there, and that'll scroll like every 10 seconds it'll change or something like that?
Yep, so we should be able to do a slideshow right through here, so it's like different pictures throughout the village. Because I think that's going to be an important thing. It's, it's good to have some stock photos, but at the same time, we want people to know what it's like to be in Cottage Grove. We're trying to draw them here, and for the people who are in Cottage Grove, to have the pride in Cottage Grove. But then there's also the search area up here, so if you're ever looking for anything, you could type it in here, and it's a search feature. It will work. But, this also isn't a live site right now, so. But, so this is kind of just the overview of what the site is. One of the things that we have talked about is that logo, and they actually,
Oh, there you go.
half hour ago, they sent me up this picture.
Okay.
So they added in Village of Cottage Grove. They changed it. This is back to our old logo.
You can see the bar, the vertical bar on the left.
Yep.
That moves wherever, just like the horizontal bar.
Yep, and then it has this top button feature where you click on that, it'll automatically bring you right back up to the top of the page. But so they changed that not only on the top part, but they also changed the logo on the bottom portion as well. But that's just kind of, any questions or anything that you guys would like to see in particular?
Do we have the opportunity to take a closer look at this on our own?
Yeah, I could send you a link. Mm-hmm.
I guess outside of Village of Cottage Grove, and I might put Wisconsin out there. Just
Okay.
so, they know they're at the right site.
Mm-hmm.
I know
There's one in Minnesota.
Cottage Groves.
Yeah.
in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, we've gotten phone calls from Cottage Grove, Minnesota on multiple occasions, so.
Yeah. I reference that.
Yeah. But, alright.
That's cool.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Vast improvement.
Any feedback on the logo? Like, from time to time, we've had comments, some staff, some others, that it's just kind of maybe it's gone a little.
Reese, can you click on that? Can you get it bigger?
This is the updated one?
That's the updated one. That's the old one. The issue that we've heard with it, and that we've talked about as staff, is things like you can barely read Cottage Grove, and sometimes, unless you're really looking closely at it, it's hard to even really necessarily know what you're looking at. It's a little busy.
Can you make the other one bigger?
Is it bigger down below? It wasn't that. So on that one at the bottom, you have the logo again. Is that the same case with the
Yep,
first
so,
one?
yep. The logo would be at the bottom.
So it might be bigger down there. There you go, a little bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger cottage. Okay.
I like the new one better.
You like what?
I like the new one better.
It keeps the tree. It emphasizes, our residential development.
Yeah, because I think it was something, the newer logo was something we did all kind of like. We just want to make sure that we can still use it, so if it's something that you guys also like. But any feedback you do have, please just write it down on your sheet. I'm going to collect them all, and I can send in if you have any additional feedbacks after looking at it a little closer. Send it to me. There are some things that we notice, like grammatical errors and stuff like that, that we'll be able, we have like a month period of time after the time the website is done before, like we can release it at any time. So once they finish it, we can go through and we can customize it and we can make it, each one of our pages exactly how we want it, adding the updated information, because when we sent in all of the information for this website was at least a month ago. So anything from that time till now has not been put onto this new website. So we'll have to add those things onto this. And so we have the freedom to really release it when we want, exactly how we want it. But-
Have they been good to work with?
yeah, they've been really great. You know, I think they take our feedback well, and I was really pleased with the product that they provided. So
When are you planning, when do you need our feedback?
if I could get it by this Friday.
Reese, you're gonna send us the link to the,
To the website that we were just scrolling through.
yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be great.
All right. Anything else?
It's chattery today.
Thanks, Reese.
Thanks, Reese.
Yep. I can get a sheet. Or do you wanna? Any notes at all, or do you wanna just?
I'm gonna hold on to mine.
Okay,
I'll give you this, but then when I take the demo, then.
perfect.
Item 7A is identify, discuss, and prioritize village ordinances requiring updating and revisiting.
We haven't received anything specifically at this point, so I just keep that as an open invitation to the board. If you spot something that you feel needs to be revised, then we'll bring it up at the meeting and have the board prioritize it.
With the new website, if you send it to the codification place, I mean, are they gonna upload it? How does it get to the new website? Because I noticed there's a tab for ordinances. I mean, is
It'll
that,
work the same way that the current one does.
Okay.
It's all done through E-code.
okay,
Yep.
And then once they add it, there's a indication as to when it was added, and
okay,
so you can follow it all the way through.
okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, 7B, discuss and consider Deer Grove EMS special event services and fees. Trying to remember, that was a couple months ago we talked about that.
Are we waiting for them to come to us?
I think that's where we left it,
Yeah, there's been no
Yeah.
proposal as far as what the fee would be.
right? Because for instance, in Deerfield, they use our ambulance service at their football games, but we don't because our football games are in Monona and Monona takes care of it. So they need to, I think they have like a community medic thing.
It's easy to just keep putting these things on there. It's
Okay.
it's easier just to skip them than
Sure.
them getting forgotten about, so.
Good,
And since we use Robert's Rules light, we don't have to table and take it off the table, so.
very good, thank you. All right, 8, new business. Item A, discuss and consider approval of Village of Cottage Grove Cable TV lease agreement with Cable 8 Operating LLD.
Yeah, this is formerly known as Charter Communications, and this is like a holding company for them that operates out of Colorado. And in 2001, the village entered into a CATV head-end lease agreement. There's a small building by the tower that they rent, and they have their equipment in there. And I think that their actual lease right now is with for services is with SBA. Not is that?
No, the building is up here by Reservoir 2.
But does sell one? I mean, does Charter have a? They don't have a separate tower, then, do they?
No.
Okay. So at any rate, all this is for the head-end building through aggressive negotiating. Deb and I were able to get the annual rent doubled from what it was. Actually, they sent this to us this way, so the price has gone up a little bit. And this is only a 5-year lease as opposed to the first one that was 15. I talked to the attorney that was handling this and asked that they remove everything that we didn't really need in here. There is still an underlying lease, and I'm satisfied that they did remove all of those things, and so I would recommend approval unless anyone has any questions.
Who owns the building?
Charter,
They own the building, just on our
right,
property.
right,
Okay. So they have responsibility for maintenance. and-
right.
I like the 5-year lease instead of the 15-year
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, this was big business 15 years ago. And there was kind of a bidding war among municipalities trying to get these in, and that kind of settled down. And so this rent is representative of other municipalities.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. I'll move approval of the Village of Cottage Grove's cable TV head-end leasing agreement with CC8 Operating LLD, DBA Charter Communications.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. 8B, discuss and consider operator license applications for licensing year July 2016 to June 2017. Chief, were there any issues with any of these folks of the four?
No, they're fine.
I mean, so we could take them as a group unless anybody wants to take them individually? Okay. Any questions? If that's the case, I'll move approval of Katrina Troy, Anna Peterson, Karen Pike, and Haven Fullage.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve operator license applications for these people. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Reports from village boards, commissions, and committees. First one is Parks, Rec, and Forestry.
Okay, it's been a while. So we have treated 90 ash trees with the EAB, our protocol. We are taking down 6 terrace ash trees that are too far gone. We will be replanting in the spring. We also had a presentation from Toby Kinsler about, it's a Players Health is his company, and he and his partners have developed an app that complies with HIPAA, but allows coaches and parents to communicate regarding concussions, injuries on the field. So he came and presented, it was a really well-done presentation and a very intriguing with the whole concussion thing going on. It's really an intriguing concept where coaches would have legal, effective communication with parents, and parents would know what's going on with their kid right away. So we're looking into doing a test run on our flag football. Did I get that right, John? That's right, right? Flag football. I've been on vacation, I'm sorry. That took up the bulk of our meeting, and that's all I have to report.
Jennifer, when's the next Parks meeting? Because Toby Kinsler did send back a response to the questions that I raised, and I gotta take a look at that and so I can make a report to you.
So we will meet on July 22nd at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that right? Nope, July 21st. This calendar always throws me off.
Doesn't start with Sunday.
It starts with Monday. I motion to get new calendars.
Is it Music in the Grove this Thursday?
What was it gonna be?
The 28th, yes. I apologize. Music in the Grove is this Thursday. We're on our summer schedule.
Okay. Thank you.
Sean, I'll
9B,
try to get that over to you beforehand so we can.
Joint Fire Department Committee.
So we met last on June 27th, where next meeting is August 29th. So we're skipping July just because there aren't anything on the agenda really pressing. Discussed a little bit about Fireman's Festival. They won't have the results of the financial impact to the Fire Association until like August, September timeframe. When I'm assuming all the bills have to come in and everything has to kind of balance out. I talked a little bit about the turbo draft or turbo
I think you're right, Turbo Draft.
turbo draft.
Yeah.
And tomorrow night, actually, they're going to do it. We all received this. The fire department's going to be doing some training. And basically, turbo draft is a thing that goes in the water and sucks out water in a lake or whatever to fill up a truck really quick, so they can go off and fight a fire. When there's no other water around, like a fire hydrant. So it's very beneficial to have that. So they're going to be doing that tomorrow night. I think it's 7:15 at Springer's boat landing. So that's what's going on the 19th. Talked a little bit about the applying for an AFG grant, and this would be to replace the air packs that the firefighters are using. The essential problem there is the air packs don't have enough time when they go in to fight a fire, and so what they want to do is get larger air packs. The other thing is these are getting near the end of their useful life too, so that's why they want to try to apply for the grant rather than have the municipalities pay for it. So hopefully that all goes well, and we're able to replace those with larger packs, as well as so they can stay in the fire, fight a little bit longer, and do what they need to do. So that was the extent of that meeting.
Thank you. Law Enforcement Committee, we will be meeting again on July 26th at 5:30 at the Police Department. One of the items from last meeting was discuss and consider restricting the parking on the east side of South Main Street in front of Old Town Cafe and 1855 Restaurant to 2 hours. I'll let Chief talk about it. It just sounds like there was some issues with the parking situation there.
There has been some issues with parking on the east side of Main Street in front of those two businesses, and they have requested that during business hours, I think it was 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., that the parking be restricted to 2 hours so that the customers have available parking in front of their buildings and their businesses. It wouldn't affect nights and weekends, so that people that live there and need to park overnight could still park their vehicles there if needed. And it seems like a reasonable request, and I think the Law Enforcement Committee approved it. I don't know if we have anybody here to speak on it or anything.
And we just approved bringing it to the village board, obviously, just to let everybody know what's going on. JJ, is it just a couple signs then that you have to change? Nothing major? Okay.
Maybe 3.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or concerns with that? Okay. If not, I'll move approval of the Law Enforcement Committee recommendation to restrict parking on the east side of South Main Street in front of Old Town Cafe and 1855 Restaurant to 2 hours.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Public Works and Properties Committee, got JJ here.
We had a lengthy meeting a few weeks ago. Essentially, we started off with a tour of Village Hall. There were some housekeeping items recommended by the committee, some cleanup work they'd like done outside that actually I've been working with Sean and his guys, and we're going to get that taken care of hopefully this week. Just some points they noted inside, maybe things that we can look at budget time, looking to do next year, but it's more just assessments of the building and maybe some space configurations. MSA gave a presentation on the traffic signal warrant analysis for School Road and N. Long story short, once the daycare's in there, there is a signal warranted. The direction from committee was to work with Matt and Ellers and basically determine what the TID can handle, because their MSA presented a number of options. Signal alone, urbanization of the rest of the area, basically extending the median, curb and gutter as it is further north. And then bring that discussion back to them for either further discussion or a recommendation to the board. So that's probably
So it's a TID 5 eligible project, but that doesn't mean that TID 5 should or needs to pay for that. The initial feedback from Ellers is that we would likely have the TID, if we move forward, the TID would borrow, not just use cash, because we'd want cash on hand for potential future incentives for businesses. And with these TIDs getting to the closer to the end of their life, we might not want to put such a large item on there, so we can be more flexible with just closing the TID out with a positive cash flow and have ability to provide meaningful incentives for businesses that we'd like. So they're taking a closer look at it. The full cost of the project, including I think this includes the urbanization portions, so curb and gutter and the whole works in the area with sidewalk. There's some sticker shock to it. It's about $600,000. So that's why it's not obviously anything to be taken lightly. Potentially just something to have Ellers work into the long range plan. Just because it warrants it doesn't mean that we have to put it in instantly. It is, I think as long as we'd have it in our capital plan, I think most would see that as reasonable, that we're planning for it. It is a large purchase, so we'll get actual more firm recommendations going forward.
There was two more items. There was the committee asked that MSA provide a scope of work and an estimate for an assessment of the new municipal services building and an assessment basically of Bonnie Road. They provided a pretty comprehensive list of what they would do, including kind of a capital improvement plan, but there was a little bit of sticker shock with that as well. That was $15,000 for the municipal services building and then $10,000 for Bonnie Road. The question came up immediately of what a bare bones would be, and it was $10,000 and $7,000. The direction then to me was to talk with our village building inspector, Tom Beacon, about if this is something he can do. I don't know necessarily, I haven't met with Tom and talked about this, but if this is something he can provide, and if so, to get a price from him.
What did a bare bones scope of work include?
They didn't really go into detail. It was a minus, no capital improvement plan, no, what else was in here that was,
I think
basically that was fixed, what may need to be addressed immediately, and then.
I'm comfortable doing that as staff. What we would be looking for is more help us with maintenance items. We can prioritize that, but here's something that could be coming up. Here's an estimated cost for that, and we can plan for that ourselves. So I don't think, I think we can get these costs down on some of that.
And that was basically the direction. I didn't get the impression there was any hurry. The suggestion was talk to Tom and then go from there, see what else we can maybe do. And then there was a broad discussion of village properties. Basically, this building, some utility properties, and ownership questions that are still kind of being hashed out, I think, as to what exactly we're looking at. But the main point that came out of that was the committee seems to want direction on, three particular properties. There's a vacant lot where the old lift station was, the Bonnie Road property that we're currently in the process of figuring out. And well one is on Main Street. It's not in service for the village, but it's still our property and there's still a well there, so that's a little more complicated than just a vacant lot, but that was the main point of that discussion. That was the extent of it. Yep.
JD, I saw on your agenda that you were going to talk about the wetland behind.
Yes, that was
Lindsay.
basically that we're gonna do it next year's budget, and that Travis got the permit extension request is in, but they don't see any problem with that being extended.
Probably not everyone's familiar with what that is, so maybe explain the area.
There's a wetland between Conservancy Court and Lindsay that's basically been filled in a little bit and needs, we've been just calling it a scrape. It's been permitted as a scrape, and technically it's a wetland restoration, but basically the water is not flowing into it and through it as it should. It's sediment and things have built up over the years, and it comes to it and moves around it, basically at really wet times up onto private property, up into the yards. So basically it's a relatively expensive project, though. There's another one with some sticker shock, so it will require bidding and budgeting, but all the permits, assuming this extension comes in, which there shouldn't be a problem with.
Sediment coming from a neighboring farm?
That seems to be the consensus, that it came from a farm field.
Is there anything the DNR can say as far as that they need to provide more erosion control, or?
The impression I've gotten when I ask that question is it's complicated. Yes, but not necessarily like they could if it was a village property. There's different rules, but they can. And it does look like the farmer's maintaining it really well now, actually. The area where the water runs now is actually, at least the last time I was out there, he's leaving it just as you'd want it to be. So I think it may have just been a regrading or something that was done once and then just happened to be a weather event that did a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much in these relatively flat wetland areas. So, but that's hopefully all set for early in the year, but it'll be part of the budget process.
Thanks.
Just a question, how'd the water main break repair go out in Crawford?
That is not well. I was off for 3 days, so that was news I get when I get back. Not well. But they're basically, that's why we haven't patched it yet, is because we may dig there again.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that for right now.
Just curious, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for getting on right away.
Well, JJ, one more notice. Is there some maintenance going on BB?
Yep.
Approaching Papa Jimmy's there. I know it's been a rough area, but part of that lane's closed right now.
Yep, we basically wanted to give everybody 1 day's notice, and tomorrow we're going to have a contractor come in and remove all the pavement. They're going to give us Wednesday to do any, basically it's called undercutting, when you dig out the asphalt, which there's not much left there. It's a lot of just, we filled potholes over the years. But then we'll notice any areas that need rock, and we can dig it out and get some good rock in there. And then they'll come back, regrade, hit it, and pave it, hopefully Thursday or Friday this week. I mean, this is kind of a small job for them, but we can do it a lot cheaper this way if we say give us a day to go in and rock it. So, but I think traffic should be okay. Traffic seems to be handling it so far, so good. So, but that's what that'll be about. Hopefully things go well. It'll all be pulled by the weekend.
The trees in the right-of-way between the houses and the roads, do you have that slotted to be kind of clean up the sidewalks or hanging over the roads?
That is another one that we've kind of addressed as we get a call basis.
Okay.
I know James will go out and take care of ones that we can. It is tree dependent. I rely on his expertise. If we get a call and I go look and I say, can this one be trimmed now? Or otherwise, I think he makes notes of hitting them in the fall or winter, whenever it's best. But
sometimes trees have to be trimmed while they're in hibernation instead of growing, I guess.
Yeah. But it's another thing where if we don't know about it, we rely on resident calls. So
I know with the summer school buses stopping and then just kind of going into the school year road, it just kind of started to be dangerous in some spots.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I know coming down Sandpiper, the trees are coming over to the point where they're blocking the stop signs.
Yeah, you can't even see the road killing.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm just worried about people going through those stop signs.
Well, and those are
More
different than if there's stop sign issues. We care less about the health of the tree. So.
right. 9E, Emergency Government Committee, Troy?
We met on July 6th. Really, took the top exercise that they had done and really looked at possibly setting some goals as to the next steps in the process. And discussed several possibilities. The other thing is the Cottage Grove Police are going to be doing a active shooter exercise at the Glacial Drumlin School. When is that going to be, Dan?
August 11th or 12th.
So, in case anybody sees any police action,
Right.
not to worry.
Good plan to just do it in the summer.
Yeah. Yep.
We should put that on the website.
Yeah, something like that. Sure.
And on the cable TV. I mean, because we don't want to freak anybody out.
Right. It's unfortunate we have to do it, but we have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Sounds good. I know they were looking, I think, at the gentleman, I can never remember his name, the guy that gave the presentation, but he was looking for people to go to that public information officer
Mhm.
training too. And I told him I would do that, and I don't know, Matt, if you're interested in it or something, but in the event that you have to deal with the news media, they want a designated public information officer, which in our case would be you and I, or both of us, whatever. I think it's September or sometime, I can't remember. I got it.
The 20th or something,
Yeah.
20th, 21st, somewhere in there.
Okay. All right, Community Development Authority, Aaron?
Yeah, so 2 meetings ago, Ellers came to the CDA and we did an analysis of the existing TIFs, and one of the things that came out of that was that we do have a fair amount of potential capacity under our statutory limits to create a new district or two if we wanted to. The kind of logical spots to do that would be the vacant commercial parcels on BB, and then the other one would be north of the interstate. So at this CDA meeting, we kind of focused on the BB commercial district. We looked at what a potential boundary could be there. And the CDA was also interested in whether we could make that more of a denser commercial node as opposed to just continuing the strip type development that's there. So we looked at several potential layouts for how that
Right.
may work.
Meaning Coil North and South commercial,
Right.
commercial land there.
One of the hangups there, I think, was the street width, trying to have that corridor with visualization. There's a certain ratio that Aaron can probably explain better of the height versus the width of the street as far as.
Yeah, BB itself is really too wide to make that feel like a downtown type street, but there are ways to do it off to the north, I think, with either the side streets or creating some kind of plaza within the central block there. I think there was some interest in continuing those discussions, but we're going to do that within the context of the other districts as well.
Okay.
And then the other main area that was discussed for potential future TID is the 140 acre Tom Veakin land north of BP.
Okay. All right, Plan Commission. We had a couple of things that are planned, but the one you'll see on the agenda tonight is discuss and consider the approval of a subdivision this is the one that's partly in the town, partly in the village. Is that right, Aaron?
No, it's completely in the town of
Okay.
Sun Prairie, but it's in our ETJ.
Oh, okay.
On the north side.
Yep. Okay. Just had to back up here. Find it. There we are. Application for approval of an ETJ certified survey map, and they're going to split 2.3 acres around an existing group of farm buildings located at Highway N in the town of Sun Prairie. I'll let Aaron talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's because it's involving existing farm buildings. It's consistent with our comp plan. Sometimes we look at the right-of-way width, but that's already adequate at that location. So we recommended approval without any conditions, and that's how the Plan Commission approved it.
Okay.
Mr. Bradley is here if there's any questions. Otherwise, like I say, it was pretty straightforward.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bradley?
Just quickly, my voice carries pretty well when we get up there. I bought this property April 29th. We're the longest running family farm in the town of Sun Prairie. Goes back to 1848, we're a state. I have a copy of a plat map that's in 1899. Isaac Bradley owned this 80 acres. That was my great-grandfather. So after all this time, we're buying the property back and putting it back in the family. So kind of excited about it. And our intentions are it's to sell the buildings off of the property.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer and second by John to approve the application for the ETJ certified survey map from Daryl Bradley. Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
You brought up Tom Beacon. I rent that property from Tom, so I guess that's not going to go out of agriculture, is it?
I'm not sure about how much or where exactly.
Well, you said north of the interstate, correct, that Tom owns? I
Mhm.
rent all that from Tom.
Okay.
You'll see on the top of the hill there is seed corn this year. I raised for rinks down in the flat. I have soybeans.
It wouldn't be anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rent that property, so.
No,
It's great farmland. I hate to see it
Yeah.
develop, but I know progress doesn't slow down for everybody, but it's a great farmland, so.
Sure. No, not in the immediate future, but it could be, like a year plus down the road, possibly. But that would be just getting this development process started. Then you'd have to find a large developer, probably multiple developers. That can take a long time as well. But yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Reports from village officers. Troy?
No report.
Okay. Kyle?
No report.
All right. Alex is not here. He's absent and excused. Jennifer?
I just wanted to express my thoughts are with our police department after everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks. Just that their safety is in our thoughts.
Thank you. We've been getting a lot of well wishes from citizens, and not a day goes by without someone bringing cookies or sausage trays, and I don't even bring a lunch in anymore. So.
Good problem, man.
Yeah, it's been great. The citizens Cottage Grove treat us just fine, so we run into zero problems and no negative reactions whatsoever.
Good. All right. Harvey's also absent and excused. John?
No report.
Okay. I just got an email today from Chris Dyer, our Utilities Commission chairperson, that he'll be resigning, so we'll need to replace him. Chris has been doing this for 17 years. Just parent and coaching obligations, which I think we all completely
I
understand.
was a senior this
Yeah.
year. Maybe that's why.
So I just want to thank him.
Not effective immediately, effective.
Right, after August, I think.
Go through August.
Yeah.
Or middle of August or so.
Yeah, he's done a very good job, but I completely understand the parent and coaching responsibilities, so thank you to Chris. That's all I have. Attorney Lee Boucher.
Okay, I was asked, this is a subject that's come up a couple of times in the last year, and Kyle talked with Jack, who agreed to put it on the agenda, which is to just take a preliminary look at what would happen if the village would attempt to become a city. And the process is somewhat complicated. I had a call in to I'm going to put a call into the State Department of Administration, because they have an office that deals with this, and so we would make sure that we had all of the steps that would have to be taken. It could be done by a charter ordinance. However, there are additional requirements that I can fill out a little bit. But I thought tonight I'd also just give you an idea of what the distinction between a city and a village is. First of all, if we became a city, we would be a city of the fourth class, which means that our ETJ jurisdiction would actually stay the same. It would not increase. For cities, it's 3 miles. Cities first, second, and third class. Milwaukee has primarily been the focus of cities of the first class, and then there's second class and third class cities, and those are all based on population.
I think even Madison is second-class city, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Cities of 150 over 150,000 are first-class cities. Cities of 39 to 150 are second-class, and 10 to 39 are third-class. And we'd be so Madison's probably a first-class city now.
I think they can be, but they
They have
don't seem
chosen not to
want
be, yeah.
Okay.
Because there's some different responsibilities and that attach to that. Okay, the mayor in a city is actually is not a member of the board, and the mayor acts as a kind of parliamentarian and does not vote unless there is a tie. So in a village, the village president is a member of the board and just has some administrative issues, or not issues, administrative, sorry.
We have those two.
Sorry. Administrative powers in terms of signing ordinances and that type of thing, but really the village president is a peer to everybody on the village board. But the mayor does sit as the parliamentarian, only votes in the case of a tie. The mayor also has veto power, and a village president does not. I think it would also, we'd have to just make sure that we stay in compliance with the police and fire. We have an agreement. We all know about the police, but some of you may not be aware that the way that we receive fire protection is that there is a fire district, which is takes up the town and the village and part of Pleasant Springs, I think.
Right.
And then each of the municipalities contracts with the volunteer fire department for protection. So there is not a separate Village of Cottage Grove or Town of Cottage Grove fire department, it's the volunteers. There's some differences in terms of statutory officers. The extraterritorial zoning, I already mentioned. The village president, being a trustee, is counted in determining whether a quorum is present. In cities, 2/3 of the members constitute a quorum. Generally with the cities, you'll have, Deb can probably speak to this better, but Deb or Lisa, then you have districts, and you would actually have alder people. And I think that, is that mandated by the county, or
Yes.
is the county?
It's done every 10 years, the redistricting, so it's based on population.
So there was something in the statute, or statutes, which talked about, it made reference to something, and then the question was whether we had to make a change, but we don't have to make a change until there's another census.
Okay.
So the federal census is what drives that. But right now, I'm not sure there would be the advantages and the disadvantages don't really jump out, but it's a question of does the board want to pursue this? Do you want more research or not?
It's also, doesn't it have to go to referendum?
That's part of the process, and
Okay.
and I don't want to really I do want to make sure that I can clarify exactly what the steps would have to be, because as is often the case with in the municipal section, you read it and you're just like, what? And so I would want to just make sure that we had those steps down, but it's a pretty involved process, yeah.
Maybe it's something that's looked into after the 10,000 population threshold.
What's the third class city threshold?
10,000.
10,000 and less than 39.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's our population now?
6, 7. Okay. All right.
So,
Yeah, the real advantage would be a merger, right? Thank you. Okay. Thank
so
you.
do you want me to do anything more with this or not?
I guess I have one question. Is the process different from going from village to third class as compared to from village to fourth class? Or is it
No, we
easier?
can't, we couldn't go to third class because we wouldn't have enough population.
I get it, but once we have 10,000 people, compared to going to the fourth class and then going to third class.
Yeah, it's pretty much
It's the
that
same.
process is pretty much the same, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
mean,
reestablishing into this, you're saying if you're already a city and you just go over a threshold and want to go into a different.
I think you have to take,
class?
I don't know for sure, man. I didn't really look at that. I was just focused on the village part of it. And I didn't want to do too much without getting direction from the board because this could be a fairly lengthy and involved review.
yeah, I mean, if you could maybe just get enough to get us at least like a memo, sort of a summary of what's involved, and so we have sort of a idea that we can hold on to, but other than that, I'm not sure there's any real advantage at this point, but we should have the information.
All right?
Okay?
And my other report is that I read in the paper someplace today that the legislature is looking at the possibility of allowing all statutory notices to be done online and not have to, you don't have to use a newspaper.
Wow.
So,
Coming into the 20th
Should be looking
century.
at least depth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I was thinking more of the fiscal impact that, well, this is a big issue.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that there will be a lot of lobbying about this.
Because there are some notices have to be published like 2 consecutive weeks or something, or 2.
Well, the idea is that, you know, it would make our life, well, make Aaron's life and Lisa's life considerably easier because, you know, I mean, you gotta count a certain number of days, you gotta,
Yeah.
and then if you miss or you get late on something, then it pushes it back for a couple of weeks. So, I think that there are a lot of positives to it, but, I think that it will be interesting to see how quickly it moves forward. It's been discussed now for about 5 or 6 years, really hasn't gone too far.
Okay. All right, thank you. Administrator Matt Geezy.
I'm sure you've all noticed that Culver's is moving right along and they're on pace to open after Labor Day, so everyone's excited about that. September, we have another meeting that lands on a holiday. I've discussed with, I think most of you, but just to remind everyone that we'll likely, because of budget and things like that, we won't want to just cancel and just leave it at 1. And there happens to be 5 Mondays in August, so we could go every other week in August,
So
keeping the same 1st and 3rd, but we just do the 5th Monday as well, which is also close to Labor Day.
Yeah. Does that work for everybody since we have 5 Mondays? 1st, 15th, and 29th then, Matt? I mean, I think that's probably
Then
good.
skip to the 20th of September.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that should work.
I think it probably works out better with the budget timetable too then.
Yeah, and we have a draft timeline ready right now, but we'll pass it out at the next meeting so you guys
Okay.
can see all the meeting dates. So.
All right. Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Aaron?
CGI will have their videographer here on Thursday and Friday. We invited about 9 or 10 folks from the community to participate on camera, and they were all very excited to do so. So I think it's going to turn out real well.
All right. Thanks. Chief Labor, anything else?
We've had vandalism at Taylor Prairie Elementary this summer. Several broken windows. They're throwing rocks at them. They're bringing the rocks with them. So we're taking various investigative measures to try to figure out who's doing it and canvassing the neighborhood on Sunset and School Road where the yards back up to it, but we're asking the public's help in trying to figure out who the heck's doing it because these are expensive windows.
Sure.
And they also had kids on the roof, so I suggested some measures to thwart that in the future. So they're going to be putting those in at the school.
Good. All right. Thank you. All right, communications and miscellaneous business. First one is discuss approval of vouchers.
Motion to approve vouchers as presented.
Okay. And second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and second to approve vouchers as presented. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Correspondence, I did just get a letter hot off the press from the Monona Grove School District thanking us for our support with the referendum back whenever, but I just want to read one line here. It says something about looking forward to the day when the state might assume its traditional role of financial support for public education instead of levying it on us, but yeah, thank you folks. But, yeah. At least we've got that. That's all I have for correspondence, if nobody else has anything. Future agenda items. We talked about John DeYoung coming back. I think we're going to leave the ordinance thing on. Anybody, anything? The website, yeah, make sure you get your comments back for the website. Anything else? Anybody? Have anything else that I'm aware of? Okay. If we're good with that, then at this point I will move that the Village of Cottage Grove Village Board enters into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, Parent 1, Parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public property, investing of public funds, conducting other specified business whenever competitive and/or bargaining reasons require a closed session, and pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Parent 1, Parent G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, and discuss response to latest conditions imposed by town relating to village application to install and maintain a water main extension on Gaston Road, and negotiate terms for potential development in TID 6 by Horizon Development Group, Inc.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. We'll have to have a roll call vote. Troy?
Aye.
Kyle?
Aye.
Aye. Jennifer?
Aye.
And John? Okay. We're now in closed session.